application. Okay, then that application is identified with what? Another port number. Okay, if you install one more application, that is identified with what? Another port number. Okay, suppose it means can you run multiple applications? Yes. But how you run multiple applications with a different what? Port number. You don't run with the same port number, but you run with what? Different port number. Ring on that. Okay. But your project, okay, your project is now I'll tell you how to change the port number, right? How to change the port number, I'll tell you. Okay. How to change the port number. I mean, while running the server, you have to change what your port number. That I'll tell you. But first you try to run with one application. Then next we'll see how to install and run multiple applications with the different servers. Okay, na? So this is one service. 8000 is one service. And here you have some resources, right? Now you created one application. This is your application. What is your application is? What is your application is? Application one. You install one application, right? What is that application is? Application one. Okay. But whatever application, now this is your complete project. You install multiple applications and all the applications are identified with what? 8001. Hang on. It means this is complete project. This is your complete project and that is identified with what port number? 8000. Okay, then so then what you're doing it now, this is a client. Client is nothing but home browser. So client uses browser. Now this is called a thin client. So client uses what here? Browser. Okay. Then how you send a request by typing URL. So it's typing the URL. What is that? HTTP. So in web, always send a request using which protocol? HTTP. And what is the IP address of the system where your server is running in? 127.0.0.1. Okay, then what is your server port number is? 8000. Means this is where your application is installed. This is how your application is identified. This is how your application is what here? Identified. Okay, na? Then next you are saying slash. Okay, now this is called protocol and this is called IP address and this is called port number. Now you are sending a request to one resource. It means you are requesting one resource or you are sending a request to one resource. You are giving some input to one resource. And what is that resource is? View. You are sending a request to what? View. So what is the name of that view here? Hello. So what will happen once you press enter? When you press enter, your browser first what will do is it will establish connection to what? Server. Establish connection to a server. What is the first step is? It will establish. So always the web is nothing but connection oriented. It is not connectionless. It is what? Connection oriented. Suppose your server is not running. Then is it send a request? No. So first it will establish connection to what? Server. And server should accept the connection of what? Client. After establishing connection to the server, what will happen is it will send a request. So your browser will prepare. What your browser will prepare? It will prepare which request here? HTTP request. How the request is sent by using which protocol? HTTP protocol. So this request is divided into different parts which contain the request header, request body. Okay, it is having a request header as well as what? A request body. So what request header contain is URL and what request. So request, first one is generally when you talk about HTTP structure, right? HTTP structure. That is divided. If you go in detail, right? Actually, it is divided into three parts. So how the request is sent? Request is nothing but input. What is the request is? Input. Okay. Response is output. Request is input and response is output. And if you see the HTTP request, this HTTP request is divided into three parts. This request is divided into how many parts here? Three parts will be there. Okay, first one you call it as request line. This is called as a request line. And then next one you have is a request request header. This is called as the request header. And this you can call it as what here? Request body. So who's preparing this HTTP request? Browser. Who prepared this HTTP request? Browser. Okay, HTTP request is prepared by what? Browser. So what HTTP request line contain? URL. So it is sending a request to which resource? Is sending a request to which resource? Hello. Hang on. It is sending a request to which resource? Hello. And is sending a request using which version of HTTP? So even HTTP version details will be there. As a part of which one here? Request line. Then what request header contain? Information about browser. Okay, so the request is come from which client? Client is using which browser? He send a request using which browser? That browser support which language? That browser support which language? All this information is put as a part of which one? Request header. And if is sending is any information, if is sending any information, that information is put as a part of what? Request body. That information is put as a part of what? Request body, right? So this complete information is sent to which one? Server. Understood? So who's preparing HTTP request? Browser. Okay, browser will prepare HTTP request and that request is sent to what here? Server. And what server will do? Receive this request. It receive the request. Request is nothing but input. Request is nothing but what? Input. Okay. So then what server will do? Read this HTTP request and identify the requested resource. So it will read. Now, client is requesting for which resource? Hello. Is looking for which one? Hello. But where your server search for that resource in? It will search that for in which one? urls.py. In your project, you'll have what here? urls.py. So is it this is URL or not? Yes. This is what here? URL. What is the name of this here? Hello. So it is looking for this resource in what here? urls.py. What server is doing? It is looking for the resource in urls.py. So third one. What is the third one? Lookup. Okay, this is nothing but what? Lookup. Lookup is nothing but what? Searching. So it will search for this URL. Means, is it this resource is available or not? Is it requested resources available or not? Okay, is it requested resources available or not? Yes. No, that is what. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. Okay. So it is searching in what here? urls.py. urls.py. So in urls.py, it is looking for which URL? Hello. Here is it hello is there or not? Yes. So you define the path, right? So there is a path. And what is the path is given? What is the path is given? Hello. So this is a URL. This is what name? URL name. And this is mapped with one view. And what is the name of that view? Welcome. What is the name of that view? Welcome, right? So it is looking for this resource. Now, is it this resource is available? Yes. Is it this resource is available or not? Yes. Then this resource is mapped. Now this name is mapped with what? Welcome. What is a welcome is here? View. So there is a view. There is a view in what? Views dot. It is there in what? Views dot py. It is there in views dot py. So in views dot py, there is one view. What is the name of the view? Welcome. What is the name of the view? Welcome, right? Welcome is the name of the view. Now, what server is doing? It is creating. What server is doing? Now, server is calling which function now? Welcome. But it is calling welcome function by sending one object. Okay, it is calling this function by sending one object. Which object it is sending? A request object. Now, your server is creating one object here. Your server is creating one object here. Okay, who's creating a request object? Server. And creating this request object by storing which information? HTTP request information. So this request object is which type? This request object is which type here? HTTP request. This is called which request here? HTTP request. Now your server is creating object of which class? Your server is creating object of which class? HTTP request. And what HTTP request contain? It contains the request headers information, and it contains what? Request body. So complete HTTP request, whatever input is given by the client, all that input is stored in which object? HTTP request object. All that information is stored in HTTP request object and send it to which function? Welcome function. Understood? So what server is creating one object, right? Which object it is creating? HTTP request object. What HTTP request object contain? HTTP request information. It is having HTTP request information. Okay. So it is stored in this. And after that, this view is generating what here? Output. This view is generating what here? Output. And always in web, always you generate the output in the form of what? HTML. HTML always used in the web for presentation or not. Yes. So if you want to generate output, browser can understand only which language? HTML. You display the output in which page? Web page. So this view is generating one page. This view is generating what? Page. So it is generating one page. Here I'm saying H2. Okay. So some message I'm writing it here. So that is what is the message I write here? Welcome to. What is the message is? Welcome to. Okay. Welcome to what here? Django. So this is I displayed with. Okay. This message I displayed with. Okay, I displayed this message with what? Header 2. I displayed this message with what here? Header 2. Now, this is a string. This is what here? String. This is a string. This is which object here? String object. And this string object is wrapped within one object. This string object you are wrapping within one object by saying output equal to what is the name of the object is? HTTP response. So always a server or always a view generate the output by using one object. What is the name of the object? HTTP response. HTTP response, and within this object you are wrapping which one here? Message. So this message, which is called as a string, is converted into which object here? HTTP response object. You are converting the string object into which object? HTTP response object. And then you are returning, what you return here? Output. So where you are returning this? Who's calling this welcome? Server. Who's the caller of this welcome? Server. And this output is sent to which one now? Server. This output is written to which one? Server. Written to the server. See, this is server, right? This is a server. What server is doing? Server is preparing. What server is doing? Server is prepare. Server prepare. What it prepare? Server prepare HTTP response. Server prepare HTTP response. What HTTP response contain? Two parts. One is HTTP response header. It is having a response headers. Okay. And one more is a response body. It is having two parts. One is a response header and one more is what? A response body. What response body contain? The output generated by which one? Server. And what is the output generated by the server? H2. And what is the message is? Suppose welcome to. What is the message is? Welcome to what? DJANGO. Now this is given to which one? Browser. This HTTP response is given to what? Browser. So browser will read this information and parse it and display. Okay, parse it and display. What is the message it display? Welcome to. Welcome to what here? DJANGO. Now once it is generated output, what will happen? Close. What will happen here? Closer. So what will happen? It will close the connection. So when the connection get closed, after generating which one? Response. After generating the response or after generating what here? Output. So establish connection and then what here? Close the connection. Now see, this is what will happen when you send a request. Understood this process here? Okay. So what will happen when you press enter here? Now, first step, it will establish connection to the server. First step is it will establish connection to the server. After establishing connection to the server, you are not creating HTTP request object. Say browser will send HTTP request that is received by server. Then how server will send that data to function? Okay, how that server send data to the function, Mukherjee? How server will send the data to the function? Okay, how it will send it? How it will send it here? How it will send? How the data is sent to the server by storing in one object. What is that object? Is request object. Who's creating this request object? Server. And sending to what here? View. Okay, and view receive this request object. Now tell me, is it this request object is a local or not? Huh? Parameters are local variables or not? Yes. Parameters are what? Local variables. So once the execution of view is completed, is it this request object is exist or deleted? Deleted. This request object is what? Deleted once execution of view is what here? Completed. Once the view execution is what? Completed. Okay. Then this object is exist or not exist? Not exist. Understood this process? You understood? I'll elaborate this. Once we move to one topic, I'll try to elaborate how backend processing is done. Okay. How backend processing is done. Okay, that will say, okay. So you need to understand how this is networking, right? So when you are saying networking or internet, you'll have how many programs? Or in web, how many programs you are using? Two programs. One is the client and one more is what? Server. So client uses what here? Browser. And this is which server here? Development server. This is a development server. And within this server, you are installing what? applications, right? And your application, you install the application, right? It means either you install one application or more than one application. You may install one application or more than one application. Means each project you run with one port number. Yes or no? You run each project with what? One port number. Now this is the project which run with which port number? 8000. Suppose you have another project and you want to run that project also. You want to run that project also in your system. You can run multiple projects. Okay, na? But how you identify that project with another port number? You run another project, then that project is identified with what? Another port number. So each project is identified with one port number and each project provide one service. Each project is one server. Each project is one service, or each project provides some set of services. Understood or not? Okay. So you can run in one system, you can run multiple projects. In one system, you can run what? Multiple projects. Yes, this is what will happen. First step is it establish connection to what? Server. And second, what will happen? It will create what? HTTP request. Who create HTTP request? Browser. And this HTTP request is divided into how many parts? Three parts. First part is called request line, and second is called request header. Third one is called request body. So request line contain what? Request URL and HTTP version. It does also have request methods that we'll discuss later. And once this request is sent to the server, what server is looking for? Requested resource. Now, where it is looking for the requested resource? In urls.py. So in urls.py, it is looking for the requested resource. And what is the name of the resource? Hello. Is it this resource is available or not? Yes. Once it is available, it invokes. It invokes the related what? View. So it is calling the view by sending what here? HTTP request object. What HTTP request object contain? Information sent by what? Client. Okay, then it is given to the view. And what view will do? It will generate the output. But how it is generating the output? By using HTTP response. Okay, you are wrapping this HTTP, string into which object? HTTP response object. And this HTTP response object you are returning to what? Server. And what server is doing? Preparing which one? HTTP response and sending to which one? Browser. And browser will read HTTP response and display it. Understood? Okay. So, and after displaying the output, it closes what here? Connection. It closes connection, and this is connection. This is what? Connection oriented. Always internet is what? Connection oriented or connectionless? Connection oriented. In one application, let me tell you more about this. In one application, you can have either one view or more than one view. So let me write multiple views in one application. And then I'll tell you how to build multiple applications within one project. But now we are building how many applications? Or we are building how many applications? One application or multiple applications? One application. Okay, one application wherein you are writing multiple views. Now question is, what is HTTP? What is HTTP? What? Tell me, what is HTTP response? What happened here? What is HTTP response? Class, very good. Okay, it is a class. What is HTTP response? Is a class or data type? So what is HTTP response? Okay, HTTP response, request. You know already HTML. You know or don't know? Don't know. Okay, right? You type in browser, will you type or don't type? What do you type in browser? You learn HTML, right? What do you type in browser? URL, you type URL or not? Yes. What do you type? HTTP, local host, port number, HTML page name or not? Yes. Yes or no? So it means you install that in one server or not? Yes. You install that in one server. So what is HTTP response? HTTP response. HTTP response is a predefined what here? Class. HTTP response is a predefined class. HTTP response. Okay. HTTP response is a predefined class, and every class is every class in what? One data type. Yes or no? Every class is one data type. So HTTP response is one data type. And using this class, what do you create? Why use a class for creating object? And why you create object to store data? Are you storing data in HTTP response or not? Yes. What data? HTML data. Yes. Okay. HTML data. So HTTP response is a predefined class or data type. Where it is there in? Where is this class is? Is a predefined class or user defined? Predefined. Predefined means where it is available in one module or not? Yes. Which module? This class is Sadhaler, Sadhwale. You have to read. कल बताए वो देखे क्या कुछ हाँ करे नहीं करे have you practiced or not practiced practice this is you'll get a job in Python if you learn Django understood okay if you don't learn perfectly then it's a problem for you only don't do like the way how you have done HTML right you think that you know HTML but start asking questions you don't know HTML understood okay you have to practice from day one onwards understood so please try to practice and try to learn that see suppose Django is there interview in Django is very simple suppose if you learn some 50 questions in Django always they ask only that 50 questions only then getting job in Django Flask this is very easy but Python what question they'll ask you don't know so complete Python you have to read but Django means if you read some 50 to 60 questions you can pass the interview you can pass the interview what is view how many ways can you develop a view what is template what is model what is ORM what is HTTP request what is HTTP response so these questions are very easy what is a project what is application what is middleware what is authentication what is authorization what is admin so simple very easy that is theoretically but once you get a job you have to practice right you have to develop project theory you learn 50 questions you'll get into the company then next there no theory right you have to develop yes or no please try to practice so please try to practice so yeah I'll explain one more time I'll tell you how to create a project yes so this class is yours this class is exist in Django dot what is that HTTP module this class is exist in Django dot HTTP module okay so this is what is HTTP response so HTTP response is used to generate which one output. HTTP response is used for generating output by wrapping what by wrapping which code? HTML code. By wrapping which code? HTML code. But is it your server side program generate always the output in HTML only? No. No. Okay. You can have a different types of responses. Response can be what? Audio. Response can be what? Video. Response can be what? Text. Response can be what? CSV. Response can be what? XML. So don't think that always your server side program generate the output in what? HTML. So HTTP response is used to generate different types of outputs. Okay. So don't think that always it will generate which response? HTML. Okay. You can send an audio file. You can send a video file. You can send what? XML file. You can send what? Doc file, PDF file. All these are what? Different types of responses or not? Yes. Understood? Okay. So HTTP response is used to generate the output by wrapping which code? HTML code or other information. Other information means I'm just telling you it is not only contain HTML code, it may contain other type of response also. You know, HTTP response, HTTP response, which you call it as content type. Okay, request is having content type and response also having what? Content type. Content type. Okay, you know, when you're talking about web, okay, in web, what is MIME stands for? In web, what is MIME stands for? What is MIME stands for? Content type. This is generally called as which one? Content type. So always the browser, how it will execute response body, how it will render, means how it will interpret response body based on which one here? Content type. Getting on, see what content is there in HTTP response and in what way it should execute that response content, that is defined by using what? Content type. And this content type is also called which one? MIME. What is MIME stands for? Multi-purpose internet mail extension. Very good. Yes or no? So multi-purpose internet mail extension. This define what here? Content type. It means your server is sending the output to whom? Your server is sending the output to whom? Browser. And browser, how it should execute? It should execute it, right? It should execute it. Browser understands so many languages. Browser support different types of content. Yes or no? Can you open image within the browser? Or can you open image within the browser? Yes or no? Can you open video file within the browser? Yes. It means browser can understand images, browser can understand audio, browser can understand what? Video, browser can understand text, browser can understand different type of content or not? Yes. Then how browser should execute the content? So your HTTP response is divided into how many parts? I said two parts. One is response header and one more is what? Response body. Now here response header contain one header. What is that header is? Content type. What response header contain? Content type. And what is the default content type? Type is what here? Text. What you are sending? Text. HTML is a text or not? HTML is a text or not? Text. HTML is a text. Now what is the type is? Text. What is the extension is? HTML. Now, this is a body. This body contain the text. In HTTP response, body contain what here? Text. And this response is given to which one? Browser. Then browser will read this HTTP response body. And after reading, it should execute or not? Yes. It should execute as what type? It should execute as which type? HTML. You are telling, okay, this is a response which contain the text in which format? HTML format. Now you execute this content as which type? HTML type. So what is the default response content type? What is the default response content type? HTML. But can I change the response content type? Yes. Understood? Can I change the HTML response content type? Yes. That we'll discuss later, like how to send a response as image and all other things. But that we'll see later. Okay, na? Yes. So HTTP response is used to generate the output by wrapping HTML code or other information. Okay. And default response content type. Default response. HTTP response. What is that? Content type is what? Text slash. What is that? HTML. This is called as which type here? MIME type. Understood? So always the browser will execute the output. Always the browser execute the content of HTTP response based on which type? Content type. Okay. So it will execute this content as which type? HTML. What is text is? Type. What is HTML is? Extension. So execute this as which extension? HTML. Execute this content as which extension? HTML. That is what you mean by it. Understood? Yes. Okay. Then next is, now this HTTP response constructor, right? You are creating an object. How you are creating an object? By saying HTTP response. What is the name of the class? HTTP response. And then you write like this. What is the meaning of this? Array, you are creating object, right? Always you create an object by invoking constructor. This is a constructor. You are calling the constructor. You are calling the constructor by sending what? You are calling the constructor by sending what? Object. You are calling the constructor by sending what here? Object. Means this is a content you are wrapping within what here? HTTP response. This is a constructor, and this constructor required at least one. This constructor required at least one value. It required one value or one object. So this object can be of which type? String. This object can be of which type? Any type. Because HTTP response generates the output of which type? Any type. But we are sending the type as which type? String. Because what is the type is here? Text. What is the extension is here? HTML. If it is any other type, then you define the content type. You need to set the content type. Okay. Now this is one question which is asked. What is HTTP response in Django? What is HTTP response? So what is HTTP response in Django here, right? This is a frequently asked question. So HTTP response in Django is a class used to send a response back to the client. It is an essential part of Django request response cycle. So what is the purpose is? It encapsulates HTTP response that your Django view returns to the user's browser. It allows you to send various types of what? Content. What is that content? HTML, JSON, or what? Plain text. So HTTP, now that is HTTP response object are created by whom? Developer. HTTP request object is created by whom? Who create HTTP request object? Server. Who create HTTP response object? Developer. Developer. So what HTTP response contain here? Content. It contain what here? Headers. What it contain here? Status code. And where this is available in DJANGO.http. Understood? So I said no, it is divided into different parts like request header and request body. Sorry, response header and response body. And it is also having response status code. That we'll discuss later. Understood up to this here? Okay. So that is what we mean by HTTP response. It is used for sending the output to the browser. Okay, that is done by using one predefined class. And what is the name of the class is HTTP response. Understood? Okay. Then what is HTTP request? So what is HTTP request? Tell me here. HTTP response is created by whom? Developer. Developer within what view for generating what here output for generating output. HTTP response is created by developer within view for generating output. So HTTP request again. HTTP request is a predefined. HTTP request is a predefined. Is a predefined what here? Class, or it is a predefined data type. And this class also, this class is exists. This class is exist within what? DJANGO dot HTTP module. And HTTP request object is created by which one? Server. HTTP request object is created by server and send it to which one? View. HTTP request object is created by server and send it to view. So HTTP request object contain information sent by what here? Client to what? Server. Server is in the sense is it is what here? View. Server in the sense what here? View, right? So view, because this request object is sent to what here? View. So view take the input in the form of which object? A request object. Which type of request object? HTTP. It means whenever you are talking about web, in web input and output, both are done using which protocol? HTTP. It means you are writing programs at server side by implementing which protocol? HTTP in which language? Python language. By implementing HTTP protocol in which language? Python language. Understood? Right? So let us see one more project with multiple views so that you can understand this execution flow again. Right? Yes. Now, what are the basic steps? Now, again, open. What do you open here? Command prompt. Okay, right? Open the command prompt. So the next is I'm not using any ID. I'm not using any IDE. I'm telling you initially without using IDE. Okay, so first you should understand without using IDE how to develop. Okay, na? Yes. So now open the folder where you want to create the project. Now this is my folder. So this is a folder where I want to create the project here. Okay, then how you create the project? DJANGO. What is this? Admin. DJANGO admin. Start a project. Project 2. So what is the name of the project I created? Project 2. Okay. So first step is create the project. Okay. So project is created. Yes. So create what here? Project. So create the project. I copy this. Okay. Create the project. I'll tell you how to do the same thing in VS Code. Don't worry. Huh? Create a project. And second step is, what is the second step? Open, open what? Project. Open the project. How you open CD? Now, what is the name of this? Project 2. CD is nothing but change a directory. So second step is open the project. So project is open. Yes or no? So project is open. And within the project, what do you do it? Create within the project, create what? Application. Create application. Okay, right? So how you create application? Python manage dot py start application 1. So Python manage dot py start application 1. Okay. So create the application. So application is created, right? So application is created. Your application is what now? Created. Okay. So once the application is created, so what is the name of my application here? Application 1. Okay. So then fourth step is, yes, open. What do you open here? Application. Hmm. Okay. So create the application and next step is open the application. So you don't require to open the application. You can directly open within the application. Inside the application, inside application folder, what is there? Inside application folder, what is there? Views.py. So view is the responsibility of taking the input, generating the output. Understood? So in your web application, which one is the heart of your web application? View. View acts as a controller. View is what here? Controller, which control the flow of execution of your web application. That means the life cycle of your web application is managed by which one? View only. So you can say view is what here? Entry point. View is what? Entry point. Now, whichever thing you want to do in your Django, you should ask whom? View only. You should send a request to whom? View. View is an entry point. View acts like a controller, which control the execution of what? Your web application. View include templates. View include what? Models. So it will do a lot of things. Done by whom? View only. Getting or not? So view is an entry point from where your web application start executing. Getting or not? Okay. So inside the application folder, you have one module. What is the name of the module? Views.py. So just opens here. Project 2. Inside the project, what do you have? Application 1. Inside this, what do you have? Views. Just open this. Open this within what? Notepad. Very simple. Now I'm writing a multiple views. Multiple views. Now there is a view 1. Suppose you're developing application for a bank. Okay, na? So this is one view. What is this view here? Deposit view. Yes. Now what is this view is? Deposit view. Now this view generate the output or not? Yes. It will take the request and generate the output. But how it generate the output? By using one data type. What is that? HTTP response. Okay. So what is the output it is generating? Now this is one message. What is the message is? Some H2. You can give all color, pillar, all the things you can give it. No problem. Huh? Yes. So this is what here? Deposit. Deposit view. It means you send a request to which view? Deposit view. And this message you store in which object? HTTP. HTTP what? A response object. You store this into which object? HTTP response object. And this process you call it as what? Rendering. This process you call it as rendering. Return. Return what here? Output. Return the output. There is one more view. What is that view? Withdraw view. Yes. There is one more view. What is that view? Withdraw view. But actually, is it client will call directly views? No. Are you design any front end? Are you develop front end or are you developing back end? Back end. You're developing what? Back end. And this back end you call it from? This back end you call it from what? You go to where ATM, right? ATM is a web or not? Web only, right? Then when you go to ATM, you get one user interface or not? Yes, that is your page, web page. That is what? Web page. That is a web page. And within that web page, you are selecting some options or not? Yes, that is a front end. Okay, you are sending a request to the back end by using what? Front end. Now, this is back end or front end? Back end. What is a front end? HTML. What is back end? Django. What is a front end? HTML. What is back end? Django. Getting or not? So you call, you call or you send a request to the backend from what? Front end. So you need to develop one HTML page or one web page from where you give the input to what? Backend. But now you are calling directly. Now you are calling directly for testing purpose. But you don't know how many views are there. All these things you know it. You don't know. When you run any website, what will happen? You'll get first page. What is the first page is called? Landing page or index page or what? Home page. And from where you move from one place to another. Understood? First you should understand that what you are writing back end or front end. So people doesn't know. This is a back end coding or front end coding? Back end. Front end means you develop it using. Very good. Understood? So that clarity you should have it. Don't learn blindly. So this is generating output. What is the output it is generating is H2. Now this is which view? Withdraw view. S is withdraw view. Now this is generating the output. So now what is the output? HTTP response object by wrapping the message and then return. What it returns here? Output. So now you can see in your application, how many views are there? 2 views are there. Now tell me, views should be written only in views, or can I write anywhere? View must be written only in views, can I write anywhere? Anywhere, only in views.py. Only in views.py. You can write only in views.py. You can write anywhere. You can import in what? Views.py. Getting on it. But your server is searching for the view where? Your server is searching for the view where? Views.py. Your server is searching for views.py. But actually, can you write anywhere? Yes. You can write. You can write what? Anywhere. So there is no rule like you have to write only in views.py. Because you are defining URL mapping is there or not? Yes. There you are telling, call this view. You're telling call this view. But where this view is available, are you telling or not? Yes. So there is no rule like you have to write only in views.py. Anywhere you can write it. Anywhere you can write it. There is no rule, right? You have to write in views.py. But according to Django, right? So because whenever you develop any application, you develop it by following one architecture, right? So Django define one architecture. Why you want to write some different places? All the views you write at one place. What is that place is? Views.py. Develop all the models in one place. What is that name of that? Models.py. Getting or not? So every developer follow the same rules and regulations. Understood? It means whenever you want to look for a view, you look inside what? Views.py. But you don't require to look inside what? Any other program. Understood? But actually you can write anywhere. So how many views I have written? 2 views. Then is it these views are Python programs or not? Yes. Who execute a Python program? Server. Who execute these programs? Server. Server execute. This is server side programming or client side? Server side. Who execute these programs? Server side. Who manage the life cycle of this program? Server. Who will load this program? Server. Who will load or execute this program? Server. When? When will it load these programs? When client send, whenever client send request. So what is the life cycle of, what is the request and response life cycle in Django? What is the request and response life cycle in what? Django application is always the request is created when client send a request. And once it is generate the output, it create a response and send the output to what? Browser and then delete it. Understood or not? Yes. So please try to understand this execution flow. Execution flow. Okay, then once it is done, okay, see here, this is in, now this is a code written in what? Views.py. Over, so how many views I develop? 2 views. Okay, this is for your understanding. I'm writing multiple views. Now fifth step is, these views are private or public? These views are private or public? Private. Private for server, private for client, and public to what? Server. Private to the client. Then how client calls these views? How client call these views? By using URL. URL pattern. URL pattern or URL mapping. URL pattern. So open project. See here. Open project. Project. Which folder? Container folder. In this, what do you have? urls.py. What is urls.py is used for? Defining URL patterns. URL pattern is nothing but a name, a public name given to each resource available in what? Server. A public name is given to each view. So that is a name which is used by the client to call which one? View. If you want to call the view from the browser, how you call it? By using one name. And that name you call it as what? URL name or URL pattern. That is called as URL pattern. Okay. But there are different ways of defining this URL patterns. We'll discuss that. Okay, we'll discuss that. Now open this urls.py. Where it is there inside? Where it is there inside? Project folder. And just open urls.py. So here you define the path. See here. Your project may contain multiple applications. Right? You can write like this also. Okay, from what is the name of this? Application 1.views. Okay, application 1.views import. What I said here? Star. Star means very good. At least you know that, right? Okay. So then next is you have to write how you define the URL pattern by using path. Path. What is the path I'm giving? Any path you can give or not? Yes. I'm giving the path like this. Application 1 slash application 1 slash application 1 slash. What is the name of this here? Deposit. Same name I'm giving. Can you give different name or not? Yes. Okay, but I'm giving a same name, comma. What is the name of this view? Deposit. So why I've given the name as application 1? Because this view belongs to which application? Application 1. But is it giving name of the application is compulsory? No. This is only to identify this view belongs to which one? Application 1. But can you give any name or not? Can I write the name as X or not? Yes. How client call the deposit? By using X. Whichever name you want, you can write it. So there is no rule like you have to write like this only, right? But it should be a meaningful. I'm saying application one slash. What is that name is? Deposit. And one more slash, right? Then next one is, again, I'm writing a path. So is it URL pattern is a list or not? URL pattern is a list which contain one or more than one. Application one slash. What is the name of this here? Withdraw. I said here withdraw and then what? Slash. What is the name of the view is? Withdraw. The name of the view is what here? Withdraw. The name of this view is what here? Deposit. Is it clear? Okay. Once this is done, this is in URLs dot py. I'll tell you how many ways can you define the URL patterns. Over. Then next is sixth step is there. What is the sixth step? Install the application. Install application. So how you install the application? Open settings.py. Settings.py. So now this is your this is your settings.py. Open this in Notepad and install the application. What is your application is? Application, what is this? Application 1. Install the application. Is it application is installed or not? Yes. Everything I'm copying. Your job is just paste or type don't paste it. Okay. So install the application. Then seventh one is what? Run the server. Run server. How you run the server? So Python manage.py run server. Python manage.py run server. Can I give the port number? I just write 8001. I just write 800 what? 1. It means now your project is running with which port number? 8001. But what is the default port number? Yes. So now you install, you have a multiple projects. You cannot identify all the projects with one port number, right? You need to run with different port numbers. Now this is which port number? 801. 8001. Okay, like that you can give one more port number for one more project. Okay, na? Yes. Now then next is, see here, you are in which folder? Project folder. Means your project is identified with which port number? 8001. Okay, na? Suppose another project is there. You open that project and run the server with another port number. So how many projects are running in your system? 2 projects. Then one project is identified with what? 8001. One project is identified with what? 8002. If you don't give the port number, what is default port number? Yes, very good. Okay, na? Now you can see DJANGO version and what is this start? Starting development server at what? 127.0.0.1:8001 slash. Just type this URL within the browser. So without giving a resource name, I have not given the resource name. When you don't give the resource name, what is the error message is given? Page not found. Who's given this error page? Push naku karo yaar, bolo. Who's given this error message? Error page, this is error page or not? Who's given this error page? Server. Who's given this error page? Server. Because you send a request to whom? Server. But are you given any resource name? No. It's saying that, okay, there is no resource. Please type like this. It's saying that, type like this, admin. Because where it is searching for what? Project 2. Where it is searching for the URL in? URLs. URLs.py. So it's saying that using this URL configure define in project2.urls, DJANGO tried this URL patterns in this order. It is searched like this. But you are given empty URL or not? Yes. So then the empty path did not match any one of this. Can you give empty path? Yes. You can also give empty path. Empty means if you don't give anything, you need to call one view. That also we'll discuss. But it's saying that you give like this. Only this URL patterns are there. There is no empty URL. Only this URL patterns are there, but there's no what? Empty URL. Who's given this error page? Server. Who's given this error page? Server. Then just give slash. Slash, what is that? Application 1. Application 1. What is the name of this here? Deposit. Which view is called here? Deposit. Okay. Then I'm giving slash. Okay, slash. What is the name of this here? Withdraw. Which view is called here? Withdraw. But I want to call this from web page. I want to call from this from web page. I want to send a request from front end. I want to send a request from what? Front end. Front end, I want to send a request. Okay, na? Yes. No, yaar, you can give any port number. Port number. Port number. Port number is, it is used to identify which one? Server. Okay. Yes. I think this is clearer. See, if you practice number of times, then you'll get an idea. Okay, if you don't write this port number, what is the default port number? Okay, 8000, 8000, 8000, because that is port number which is reserved by, tell me here, that is a by only 8000. Why only 8000? Yeah. So because HTTP protocol, HTTP reserves what? 80, 80, 8000. All this belongs to what? HTTP. Suppose FTP, which uses 70. Understood? Huh? So SMTP also uses what? 7. So certain protocols reserve some port numbers. ये पूरा Google करना है यार. Web development is not just writing HTML page. Huh? Just writing HTML page, your web development will be over. Huh? No. Yes. Yes. Other port numbers used by some other servers or some other protocols. And some protocols reserve some port numbers. Any port number will start with a 8, 80, 80, 80. So all these are reserved by which protocol? HTTP. All these are HTTP. Means most of the web servers like HTTP servers reserves what here? 80. Okay, na? Right. So I think you understood this. Okay, once you run the server, then open the browser and type the URL HTTP. So 80, 80, huh? Oh, 80, 80, huh? 80, 80 or 80, 81. Yes. Colon // Can I write localhost? Localhost 8001. In the place of that IP address, I can give host name and /. Okay, what is the name of this here? Deposit. Error? Why error? Huh? Why the error is here? App 1. Okay, very good. So what is your URL is? app1/deposit. So that debugging also you should know it. Okay. So that's it. I say no. This Django, if you develop one simple concept, your time will be over. Okay, so what do you learn today? You learn what today? Huh? Something you learn or not learn? Okay, so this is life cycle of HTTP request and response. And I said, what is HTTP response and what is HTTP request? And again, I said how to create a project and how to develop multiple views within the project. Okay, then tomorrow I'll tell you how to develop multiple applications, how to develop multiple applications within the project, and how to call those views, right? And even I'll tell you how to call the view from, how to call the view from, how to call the view from what? HTML page, HTML or what? Template. Okay, na? So we will discuss that, not today, but we'll see tomorrow. And 1 minute, you just take this Google Classroom code here. I will take in Google Classroom code. Just take Google Classroom code. Take the Google Classroom code. I'll tell you in VS Code. Maybe tomorrow we'll see uh, in VS Code or PyCharm. Okay, na? So take that Google Classroom code. I'll be uploading the notes in Google Classroom. You take only one code. So what you do is online students. First online students. You don't take this. Okay, na? తీసుకోవద్దంటే తీసుకుంటారు మీరు. So don't take this Google Classroom code. Online students, you take this code. Online students. I said online students here. Online. Online students take this code. Over online. Online, yeah. No problem. I reversed it. Okay. So online students take this code. Okay. So I can change. Offline students, you take this code. No problem. Yeah. Online, offline. Can I change this name? Can I change? We'll change this. No problem. Yeah. Offline, online. दो भी classroom सी है. So take this code for offline. अभी दो भी कोड ले, दो में ज्वाइन नहीं होना. Don't join in both the class codes. Why? Because classroom number of students are limited. They don't allow more number of students. Okay. अरे no problem यार कार्तिकेय. Okay. कौन सा भी ले लो यार. Okay. So have you taken this? Okay. Then today I'll upload all the notes in this classrooms. Okay. Na? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow.